Hi everyone! Congratulations on making it through Module 4. We are in the thick of visual theories, so you have now gone through Gestalt and Constructivism, so you know how we sense our visual cues, how we select the visual cues, and now it's the time you've all been waiting for. Perception. Here we are in our one perceptual theory, but it's a doozy and it will explain everything about how we attach meaning to the visual cues that we sense and select. And really, it'll help you, I hope, understand how we make meaning in our world. So I'm going to dive right in, give you a little overview of Module 5 and show you exactly what you need to do this week in order to take your visual theories test and first get caught up on semiotics, which is the study of signs, and then you are going to take your visual theories test by Sunday at the end of this week. So you are here in this Module 5 intro and instructions page, one intro page because both lessons are about the same theory, and I'm splitting this theory into two different chunks, which I'm really glad that we get the opportunity to do it in this 8-week class, actually, because all of this is done in 1 week, which you would have had to do in just a few days. So I was able to rewrite this module a little bit, to expand it out, to give you some more lectures, and to really make this feel a little bit more like my lecture class, where I do spend 2 full weeks on the theory of semiotics, which is really one of my favorites. When I first heard about this and learned about this in college, I was so excited because everything kind of started to make sense. And I read this book, which I'm assigning to you, one chapter. It's called Representation by Stuart Hall. I think it's a really great book. It really goes into, once you learn the basics of semiotics and of representation and meaning making, you can really apply it to a lot of different things. There's chapters in here on museums, and there's been plenty of books that have been written about semiotics in movies, in film, in media, in advertising. Later on in the semester, you'll be reading from some ideas from a book called Semiotics of Emoji. So what is the meaning and symbolism and meaning making behind emojis? So we're going to dive right in. So what you have first is really an introduction to just this theoretical concept of representation. Before I even get into the theory of semiotics and what semioticians say about signs and how we attach meaning to them, I really want to start us off with this concept of representation, representing something visually. How do we take an idea that's in our heads and communicate it to others through visual communication? So I'm able to speak the language to you, and you're able to hear it, but how do I visually represent that language? Through text is one example, but there's lots of other visual languages, as you'll learn about this week through this reading. So starting us off with just what is a perceptual theory? Where are we at in the process of sight, going back to Huxley's equation? And so I'm having you watch this TED Talk by Christoph Niemann. He'll really introduce you to this, that you already know all of this. And maybe this is becoming apparent to you in this class, but you already know a lot of these things. You just don't have the terms for it yet, or the words to describe these sorts of notions or the experiences that you have with looking. But Christoph Niemann does a really great job here of showing you how you already know how to read images. You don't have to work hard on trying to perceive in this module, because you already do perceive. What we're going to do is give you some tools and some concepts and some terms to describe what you see and why you see it. That's a really big, important part of this entire class, that there is not one right answer to see something. There's not one right way or correct interpretation of something, maybe despite what your English teachers or art history teachers have ever said to you. There is not one correct way to interpret something, but there are lots of different interpretations. But what you do need to do is be able to explain and to justify why you see what you see and why you are perceiving the meaning that you are perceiving. So starting us off with just perceptual theories versus sensory theories, I just want to bring this home so that you understand again what part and what step in Huxley's equation each of these are happening during. So we're here in perceptual theories. We're talking about what we do with perception. And then there's a video lecture, or sorry, you're going to read Stuart Hall's Representation, which is short, but again, really, really foundational. We got a video lecture here with some of these key terms that you're going to be using in your assignments this week and moving forward in this class. We will be very much building on top of perception, and we will be using this idea of representation and signs and meaning making and culture and codes, and we'll be using that for the rest of the semester. So that's why I'm giving us a full week on this. So once you watch the video lecture and you complete the reading, you'll do this discussion board where you will just analyze a sign from your life that has different meanings at different times. And then using the terms from the module or from the reading, you'll understand why. And then you actually go right into the second lesson of this week, which is about semiotics, which is the study of signs, as you'll learn about. So some great little videos here to give you an introduction to how semiotics works, and then the nitty gritty here. This is, it's really important. I know there's a lot of material on this page, but you only have really one page to absorb in this second lesson. But it's really important that you understand how to analyze the meaning you are attaching to signs. So, and once we talk about how are you representing something? What is the culture and the codes? How do you know what it means to recognize something? How do you know what you know? How do you know what you think is true, and who taught it to you, and under what circumstances, and what are the rules for different signs and codes and all of this? So this lesson is all about naming basically the different parts of a sign. So if a sign is anything that can convey meaning, then what is the signifier and what is the signified of that sign, and how do you know? I'm going to ask that a lot. What does it all mean, and how do you know? That is really the theme of this week. What does it mean, and how do you know what it means? Because here we are in meaning land, over in perception. Finally, you've been waiting this whole time. So this talks about how you can identify the signifier and the signified in a sign, and then whether or not that sign is iconic, indexical, or symbolic for the meaning that you have perceived, or for the signified, the idea, the concept in your head. So again, semiotics is really just all about communicating what's in our mental concepts with other people's mental concepts. So I'm just trying to communicate what's going on in here to what's going on in your brain too. And the only way we can do that is by representing things through either iconic, indexical, or symbolic signs. It's really fascinating how adept we are at all of this. So please review this. How do you know what kind of a sign something is? Here is this foolproof way to determine it. What does it look like, and how do you know what it means? Then you have a quick knowledge check quiz that will help you identify different signs and use these terms that I was just talking about. And then you have a really brief assignment where you will reflect on what you submitted in the discussion board earlier in the week, and you will analyze it more deeply. So you're getting sort of the foundational theory earlier in the week, and then the second lesson is giving you some more specific terminologies to identify why did you attach that meaning to that sign. How did you know? How did you know to do that? And then you get to take the test, the visual theories test. So you have learned about 3 visual theories this week, and in this class, and you will be tested on all of them. So this is, instead of a midterm, you have a visual theories test. There's a study guide here for you. So study up. You get an extra day on top of all the other assignments that you have for this module. So please study up. There's a downloadable version of it. And when you're ready, please take the test. You will have 2 hours to take this test. It's 120 minutes, and which is plenty of time. I'm not trying to trip you up. I really want you to pass these tests. Please make sure that you're filling out the short answer questions as well, because they are worth some points. And everything that you need to know is in the last 2 modules and is on that study guide. So please make sure that you're clicking on modules and you're going through everything so you can see it all right in front of you. And when you're done with the visual visuals theories test, you are done with this chunk of the class. So we are done with visual theories, and we will be moving on to applying these visual theories. How can we, applying this idea of representation and meaning making. We'll launch right into visual culture at the end of this, and then we'll start analyzing different kinds of media and the form and the content and other things that are impacting your perception. So good luck this week, and don't be afraid to reach out if you have any questions along the way. I know this is a really fast class, and it can be hard to keep up sometimes, but I'm here to answer any questions that you have along the way, okay? Happy semioticing!